Hughie Fury has apparently fallen ill and his fight against Michael Hunter has been postponed. So here we've got a statement from Peter Fury, Hughie's dad. He said, "On behalf of myself and my son, we apologize to the fans, but most of all to Hunter and his team, because like us, they've gone through a hard camp, and this news is the last thing anyone in boxing wants to hear. Hughie struggled on through the illness, but physically broke down. We look forward to this fight being rescheduled, as it's a great fight for both men and for the fans around the world. Once again, we apologize to everyone involved, but health is paramount in boxing." And here we see boxing fans all over the world have been looking forward to this fight. This is Ben Shalom talking now. Boxing fans all over the world have been looking forward to this fight, and so have the two fighters. Nobody will be more disappointed than Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter by today's news. But health is more important than anything. We wish Hughie a speedy recovery while we arrange a new date for this bout in Manchester. Now, this has happened many times over the years with Hughie Fury. He has pulled out of a lot of fights. There was a period of his career where he was pulling out of so many fights, people were questioning whether he actually wanted to box anymore. Because it was like, literally, every fight there seemed to be a postponement or a pullout by Hughie Fury. He also turned down a lot of fights. And there was talk of his, health, him having certain conditions that left him with acne all over his body. There was that one fight where the boils on his body actually ruptured and he was bleeding in the ring. So he obviously has some type of health issue there. In fact, if all the times that Hughie Fury has pulled out with illness are actually genuine, then this has got to be the most sickly fighter I think I've ever come across. So I don't know what the case is this time with regards to him withdrawing from the Michael Hunter fight, but if it is yet another illness, then you really have to wonder how far Hughie Fury can go, how long he can stay in the sport. Because, look, if it's a genuine health problem, that's all well and, well, I say well and good. We've got the greatest sympathy for that. But opponents are not going to want to fight him because they're thinking, well, what if this guy gets sick and pulls out, postpones the fight, etc., etc. Even if it's genuine. Now, a lot of people are going to be screaming at their screen saying, "What are you talking about, Hatman? We know that Hughie Fury is not going to go very far anyway, so we don't have to speculate. We don't have to talk about his health or anything like that. He just doesn't have the ability to go that far in boxing." Well, that remains to be seen. And of course, Hughie Fury is still a relatively young man. I don't think he's 30 yet, is he? Or is he just about 30? So he's still a relatively young man. He's part of the generation below the Tyson Furies, the Anthony Joshuas, the Deontay Wilders, even the Alexander Usyks. He's part of the generation below that. He's in there with the Parkers. He's in there with maybe not the generation of the Jared Andersons, because that's even a generation or two below Hughie Fury. But he's not going to, his career is not going to end with the Tyson Furies and the Anthony Joshuas and all that. He'll probably go on beyond those guys. Okay? And therefore, there might be opportunities for Hughie Fury when the AJs and the Fury and the Tyson Furies, etc., retire. You see, so I'm not going to write Hughie Fury off just yet based on ability because he's picking up experience. He's already got a lot of experience against Povetkin, against Parker, against, various different people, Kubrat Pulev. So all this is experience in the bank. Yeah, he's lost fights and whatever, but at some point it's going to click and he's actually going to be a difficult opponent for some younger guys and some other contenders. So I'm not writing Hughie Fury off in terms of, look, I'm not saying he's going to win world titles necessarily, but I think there will come a time when he's a tricky fighter. Maybe he's already there, but a tricky fighter at world level for the best guys in the division when the likes of his cousin Tyson and Anthony Joshua are gone, and the same with Usyk. But as I said earlier on, these health issues are a problem because the opponents can't have the assurity that the fight's actually going to take place. Will this fight with Michael Hunter even take place? Perhaps Michael Hunter will think, you know what? This guy's got a long history of pulling out of fights. He's got these health issues. Let me go in a different direction. If he can find a better option, perhaps that's what he does. And by the way, does anyone know what happened with Michael Hunter and Hasim Rahman? They obviously were fighter and trainer manager, but I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think Michael Hunter works with Hasim Rahman anymore, does he? And has that caused him to regress as a fighter? Because he was doing very well with Hasim Rahman. But since he seems to have split with Rahman, again, if I'm wrong about him splitting with Rahman, please correct me in the comment section. But I believe, I have the impression that he split with Hasim Rahman a while ago for whatever reason, business reasons, who knows? And has that been detrimental to him as a fighter? Is he just not quite the same now since splitting with Hasim Rahman? And it's not that he's washed up or anything like that. Maybe he's not training the way that he used to train. Maybe he's not getting the advice, the game plans that he used to have with Hasim Rahman. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So anyway, and also let me know what you guys think, of course, about the postponement of this fight between Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter. Do you think it will get rescheduled? Do you think it will go ahead? And if it does, who have you got winning? Let me know in the comments.